Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, Asiedu yopo.
You are most welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more updates, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can also leave a comment after watching or send us your suggestion through our WhatsApp number, which is 0277 128 777, showing on your screen as well. The Chairman General of NDC, Asiedu Nketia, has also come out saying that they boycotting the IPAC meeting has bring a positive result to them, and they have not believed in what the EC is saying that the BVD machines are missing. To him, the BVD machine is being taken by someone and they know where it is, and he urged them to bring it before due time. With that much I would like you to join me listening to what he said into detail. Thank you.
We are just 8 months now to December 7. It is a big day in our calendar because the two main political parties who come head-to-head, one person will win. And on the side of the NDC, there's one person they call the general. He's now the chairman of the party, and he is always in the thick of affairs, orchestrating a victory, but he's seen his fair share of defeats too. What's going to be the outcome this year? Asiedu Nketia is my guest tonight for a conversation that I always look forward to, because this is not going to be an exception, because there's a lot of key issues we're going to be talking about. We're talking about the Electoral Commission. As you know, the party boycotted the Electoral Commission's IPAC meetings for a while. They've returned now. There was an emergency IPAC meeting on Tuesday with a number of issues raised. We're going to be talking about that. These BVD issues, the NDC raised it first. So where are they in getting clarity around the BVDs that either we're missing, the laptop that the EC says we're taking? Will that affect the outcome of the elections for them, or the conduct or the perception of the elections as a very credible one? I want to hear his thoughts on that. We'll talk about the recently renominated and, of course, given a thumbs up to the running mate to the former president, John Dramani Mahama. Professor Jinana Pokwajumane is back on the ticket for the NDC. She's going to run again with John Dramani Mahama. I want his thoughts on that too, because of the criticism that we've seen from the other side. And all manner of things have been said about her. I want his thoughts on that too. 24-hour economy is something they've been pushing very hard, because maybe they believe it's a key trump card for them policy-wise as they push into the December 7 elections. And then, of course, today, the government launched this government performance tracker, which has generated a fair bit of controversy. I've heard the NDC say this is just a collection of a host of NDC products in the past, NDC projects in the past that the government has repackaged and put into their tracker that has been sold off as projects that were begun under this particular government. But really, this is a government that wants to come to the table with its own track record, and they're not afraid to put together a tracker for us to see what's happening across the country. Is that of concern to the NDC? We're going to talk about that and more here on PM Express when I sit down with Asiedu Nketia. You see him there? He's my guest. Stay with me. And PM Express is always brought to you by Syntex Tanks. It is strong, it is tough. Alomo Bitters experience greatness in every moment. Ghana AIDS Commission, Pepsodent, every smile matters. And every evening I recommend to you Syntex Tanks, because it is the first to introduce a double inner layer tanks in Ghana. It is bespoke as well, because it gives you whatever size, whatever shape, whatever color. All you need to do is to call them. They are nationwide. You want to pick a phone now and call them, because they also have 7 years warranty. Nobody else has that in Ghana. So please call them, 0244 335 168. Shop online at syntexgh.com. And I also recommend to you Pepsodent. I use it every evening, and I use it in the morning as well, because they have the pro-fluoride and microcalcium ingredients, sealing tiny and invisible holes in your teeth. This prevents cavities, keeps your teeth strong and mouth healthy. Pepsodent come in various shapes and sizes, 175G, 120G, all the way down to 12G sachets. So you can always get what you can afford at any time. So don't just use toothpaste, use Pepsodent. Pepsodent, every smile matters. My guest in the studio with me is the national chairman of the main opposition National Democratic Congress, Asiedu Nketia. Mr. Nketia, thank you very much for your time here on PMSS once again.
You're welcome, Evans.
Let's talk about the elections, because we are now just 8 months away to December.
Yeah.
Have you seen enough to assure you that this year's elections will be free and fair?
Well, we are trying to make it free and fair. And making elections free and fair is a collective responsibility of the citizenry, the participating political parties, and the Electoral Commission. So we are trying to contribute our quota towards making the elections free
and fair.
And fair.
All these stakeholders that you've mentioned over the period, but now we're in an election year, the conversations you've been having, the IPAC meetings you've been going, are you confident now? Because I know the NDC have concerns. Are you confident now that this year will be different? This year, you won't have the concerns you probably raised in 2020?
Well, we are entitled to assume that everybody will play their role, because we walked out of IPAC for some reasons, and all the stakeholders met again, and they felt that we should make a fresh start and then try to see how we can make IPAC perform its role as a consensus-building forum. And so that's how come we return to IPAC. And so far, we don't have any reason to feel disappointed yet. So we are confident that we should be able to build consensus based on facts and reasoning. And that will take us into a free and fair elections.
With hindsight, since that you just said that you don't have any reason to be disappointed, with hindsight, would you say it was a bad decision to boycott the EC?
It was a very good decision, because that is what has brought all the stakeholders to the realization that if we need consensus building, apart from the legal frameworks, constitutional provisions, and so on, there's some oil that must be brought on board to make democracy function, and that is consensus building. And so if we had moved along in the face of the abuse of IPAC processes, nothing would have changed. But we believe that now everybody has come to the realization, according to the French saying, if you draw your bayonet and I draw mine, we sit down to negotiate. So we are at the stage.
Specifically, what has changed since you returned?
Well, the attitude of Electoral Commission has improved. In the past, it was like, we have the power to do this, not going to negotiate with anybody. This is our way, accept it, or nothing else. And we say, well, if we are here to be communicated to about what you have decided, then we better remain in our offices so you communicate to us after you have taken your decision. They have realized that that is not the best way to go, and so we've all now come to the realization that there is a need for consensus building, and that is what we have started now. And for this brief period, we've realized that through consensus building, Electoral Commission has abandoned their hard stance of passing a new CI that will restrict qualification of voters to the possession of Ghana card and many, many other things. And they've come to accept that from now to December, no new laws will be promulgated. So all the proposals they had made in the past about changing of the elections date to November, about closing the elections at 3 p.m. and all that, those have been abandoned by consensus. And I believe that
you're happy with the Electoral Commission?
We are on a better path now than we used to be.
Okay. You're happy with the Electoral Commission?
No, as I have said, I don't express confidence in work that has not been done. What we are seeing now, we are okay.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a sticking subject, though, of the alleged missing biometric BVRs.
Yeah.
There's an emergency IPAC meeting that was held last time.
Yes.
You were in there, but you've been briefed.
Yes.
What were you told happened?
Actually, we called for that emergency IPAC.
Yes, I saw that letter.
Yes.
That calling for it.
And it's good. If it were in the past, they would just throw the letter away. But the fact that they considered there was a need to concede to call an emergency IPAC meeting in itself is an improvement over their past conduct. Our problem is simple. You know, there's a American president who says, trust but verify. Okay, so elections cannot be based on just trust. Indeed, if elections had to do with trust, we will not be struggling to compile a voters register at all. We will not be struggling to do biometric registration, verification, equipment, and all that, because we could just stay there and assume that, well, everybody could be trusted. So those who appear at the polling station to cast their vote will be 18 years and above. And we trust that nobody who doesn't fall within that category will appear. But because all this technology is being deployed, because we cannot rely on trust. So if we are raising issues about blocking loopholes that could be abused, the argument of trust doesn't come in at all. And so in trying to ensure free and fair election, your approach ought to be that, look, supposing 99.9% of all citizens perform their duties correctly, and you have one person who is a criminal, would he have any opportunity of abusing the system such that he will bring all that has been achieved crashing down? So you look at loopholes which could be exploited by bad people. That is why when there was this allegation, this news about missing BVRs who were concerned. Because in the past, we're not using the online registration method. So every BVR was deployed at a particular polling station or registration center. So after the registration, you could now bring together the district figures, and then there will be automatic deduplication, because if somebody registers at one station and that's another registration in another station within the districts, when you bring the figures together, the person will be exposed. And then it happens like that up to national level. Now, the new system that is being used, there is no time between the registration at the center and then the entry of the data into the main database. The names, as are being registered, will be going into the database straight. Okay. And you need to activate the BVRs so that as they are registering from whatever location, the data will be coming into the database. So we are saying that if now you have a situation where we cannot trace about 5 or so of them according to Electoral Commission's reckoning, if somebody lays hand on it, and as we believe that they are not missing, because the stringent measures in place at the Electoral Commission headquarters, it cannot happen that they will be stealing of equipment which cannot be detected.
So if it's not missing, where are they?
We believe that they are being kept by Electoral Commission for whatever reason. And that is what is, making the matter worse. Because if the Electoral Commission is keeping those registration kits and they decide to deploy them in support of whatever agenda, so when registration is happening and they activate the BVR kits, those ones too will be activated, and then they can be doing registration behind the backs of other political parties, and whatever data will be captured will be coming into their database straight.
But the Electoral Commission is sworn to ensure that elections are free and fair. Why would they do such a thing? That could actually destroy this country.
You are bringing us back to the issue of trust. We are saying that whatever you have sworn to doesn't matter to us. What we can verify is what we should be looking at. And so if there is a loophole, and you know that this loophole can be exploited, forget about anybody swearing that they will do correct elections, free and fair elections and so on. It doesn't matter to us at all, you see. So what we are saying is that the stringent measures in place at the Electoral Commission headquarters and where these kids are kept, it would be extremely strange for anybody to say that a thief just broke into their warehouse and took 5 BVR kits and that they declared them missing. They don't have any trace as to who did that. Because you see, when you are keeping security equipment or documents or whatever, I've worked in a bank before. Cash is termed as security documents. So that is why you keep cash in a strong room. Okay? And the keys, getting access to that strong room, the protocols you have to go through so that you can track whoever is in possession of the strong room keys at any second. So that when money gets missing from the strong room, nobody can just come and say that money got missing, so we are going to report to the police. There are things that you can verify and see. Electoral Commission has CCTV cameras. In the past, we didn't have police or military guards. Now we do. We have come to a point where even the 3 top commissioners, they move with a certain number of armed military men always, 24 hours. The chairman of Electoral Commission's house is guarded by soldiers with an armor car placed there. There are armor cars also at the Electoral Commission headquarters. So if we are now, in spite of all this, we are now being told that some thieves suddenly came to the Electoral Commission warehouse and picked this sensitive equipment, and there is no trace at all as to who did that, who was in charge of the keys at that time, or was there a break-in, or what? That's why we asked
but
about 35 questions.
The Electoral Commission disputes that these are BVRs or BVDs of sensitive nature. They say they are laptops. Laptops that have very little information that could jeopardize elections.
They are no ordinary laptops.
But that's the issue.
They are laptops. No, but at the meeting yesterday, I mean, many of the things they were alleging publicly were disproved, and they accepted it.
What did they admit to yesterday?
First of all, they were saying that there were no BVDs missing at all. Yesterday, they admitted that some of the BVDs were destroyed in Takwa or some other places. Destroyed? That was their claim now. And we said that, well, are they missing or destroyed? If they are destroyed, can we have the debris or, the remnants? And they couldn't produce. Okay. You understand? So it's like they jumping from one story to the other. So when we were saying BVDs were missing, they came out to say that no BVD missing. There are laptops which are some of the components of the BVRs. Yeah. And we said that of no consequence to the election. They are of consequence. Why would the white man put them there? They have consequence. And as we are saying, nobody, no independent person has even gone to verify the item, the specific items that are missing. So you want to verify? It's just a sole story from them. And they jump from one to the other. First they said no BVDs missing and that they were only laptops. Then yesterday they came to admit that BVDs were missing on the field.
Or destroyed, not
Yes.
missing, destroyed.
Yes, they said destroyed. We say, okay, let's produce the debris of the destroyer. What they couldn't produce.
When did this happen, though? District level elections? The distraction?
Well, that is their claim. That is their claim.
But if it did, you have monitors, or
but you see,
you would have known.
some of our questions are that every BVD or BVR has
Serial number.
serial numbers. So let us know the serial numbers of those that are missing, and let's find out if they are consistent with those that were deployed in Takwa in the first
Did they give you?
No. So these are some of the 35 questions that we ask, which they are yet to respond to. And again, those they claim are on the field. Now, in their own warehouse, you have CCTV cameras all over the place. If you say these are missing, how did they get missing without a trace? And you now have to go to report to the police.
They have reported to the police.
But when they printed 1 million extra ballots, we have reported to the police what has happened.
Yeah.
So you
But
can't
they've
just,
taken action, have they not? That they
Nothing.
admit that something is missing.
and
They've
I'm saying
reported
that
to the
we
police.
also took action. 1 million extra ballots printed. They even at some point tried to turn the whole story around. When we complained about it, they said that we were lying, so they will report to the police and all that. And then we took the initiative to now report to the police with the evidence. 4 years now, nothing has happened. So you cannot use the fact that you have reported to the police as a refuge to silence us.
But that's the
We are
best they
saying
can
that-
do.
Hmm?
That's the best they can do. If
No,
it's
but
missing,
at least if
you have to report to the
if it is missing, stakeholders at the meeting should be able to get some particulars about how
So you want to see the CCTV footage? You want to verify?
it is possible. And in the first place, when did they get missing? How come when they were missing, no stakeholders were informed until you were pushed by the minority in parliament when you had to do something else there for you to now admit that something was missing? If we are working together on a project and some of our equipment get missing, or somebody breaks into Bank of Ghana and some money gets stolen away, instantly the public will know because we are stakeholders. Okay? But you keep this to yourself until you are pushed by minority in parliament when you had gone there for something else, for you to now admit. So they don't have any good faith of being open with stakeholders that this is the challenge we are facing. It was caused by A, B, C, and then we can call a meeting, because if the day you found out that you have missing laptops or whatever, the next day there ought to be IPAC meeting or a press conference to brief the whole country that we have lost so and so due to thievery. And then media people will ask you questions. Was there a break-in? Were the CCTVs working? Or how did it happen? Or who was in possession of the keys to that room where the things were being kept, and so on? There are all these stories, these questions that could be asked. But you keep this to yourself for over about 3 months until you had to engage Parliament on something else, and somebody, Intel, picked this information. We asked our MPs to question you, for you to admit that something was missing. Even in the first place, you were not forthright. You were not even admitting that BVDs were missing. Then you issued a statement that no BVDs missing, laptops are missing. Then as at yesterday, you were pushed and you now say that yes, BVDs were missing, but they were not just missing, they were destroyed at some polling station. Do you know that handling electoral equipment or document constitutes an offense for which an individual can be jailed for about 5 years? How come your BVDs were destroyed somewhere on the field and nobody has been arrested? We don't know anything that is happening.
You've said to me tonight that you don't believe the story that is missing. In fact, you believe it is still with the Electoral Commission.
Yes, that is Asiedu Nketia's belief.
And that there's a potential
that it can be used, abused. They could
during
be
elections
used to do something against the election. So we have to.
Have you put this to the EC? You had an opportunity yesterday.
Oh, that is why we asked them 35 questions. Okay. That is where.
Have you had any answers?
No answers yet, and we are demanding. We are getting to a point where we will call for an independent audit of the IT systems of the Electoral Commission. Okay. To put everybody at ease that nothing untoward is happening. And it's been done in this country before. Getting to 2012 election. There were some issues for which reason Jacob Echebilamte wrote and demanded of the state to conduct such an independence. And we have external collaborators who help us with consultants and so on. And that was done. And the reports issued to give us all peace of mind to go into the election.
But you haven't demanded that yet.
We are working towards that.
That is, if you don't get answers to your questions.
Yes, the 35 questions. That is where we are moving towards. We want a complete audit of the Electoral Commission's IT system to give everybody comfort. And I believe that it will be in the interest of all political parties, including the ruling party. Because if you know you are going to win, I mean, why do you position yourself as if you are the lawyers of the Electoral Commission? Anything we demand should be corrected. You come out to respond that it is okay. Look, if you have a bulldog, a watchdog in the house, and the thieves come there to steal, and the watchdog does not bark, it means the thief is the relative of the landlord.
Another issue that came up at the IPAC meeting was the Ejusu by-election. It's on the 30th.
Yeah.
Will the NDC contest in the by-election?
We are not there yet. We have a candidate. They don't have a candidate.
Yeah, so you have a candidate.
Let them have their candidate.
Yeah. But I was curious just to ask that question because, yes, you have a candidate. So we haven't heard you make any moves yet because 30th is just around the corner.
Because we are ahead of them. The moves they are making, they are now trying to catch up. They don't have a candidate.
But certainly, you'll be on the ballot in the by-election.
At the appropriate time, we will talk to the nation about what we intend doing.
Okay, so you haven't taken a decision whether to contest or not. That's fair tonight. As we speak tonight, you haven't taken a decision whether to contest or not.
I can't say yes or no. I'm saying that we will be communicating to the country in the coming week, just next week. And I don't want to preempt my general secretary. Okay. That is why I'm...
So this is a decision, the communication will be around whether to contest or not?
Around a decision that we have taken about whether to contest or not. But we have a concern though. The concern is that this country is degenerating into a situation where people can kill for power and get away with it.
What do you mean?
It's very bad and we have to correct it.
What do you mean in reference to Jusu?
We have 3 MPs who have been killed.
Have been killed?
Yes.
You're talking about murder here?
Yes. And nothing has happened. We haven't gotten any closure to any of them. And they all happen to be MPP MPs.
Who are these MPs you're talking about?
You have J.B. Dankwa. You have the other MP for Mfansiman. Both were stabbed to death, one in his bedroom, the other on the highway. All that we heard was the wife should contest and take the place of the husband, and that settles it and nothing happens. And then this one.
John Kuma?
John Kuma, after his death, you have people coming to sit on television openly, claiming that he was poisoned, mentioning the hotel where he ate the food and the person who served the food and all that, and bragging that he's available to testify to any of the claims he's making. The person is working. Nothing has happened. No hotel manager has been apprehended. And MPP is approaching this thing as if they are just interested in filling the vacancy and nothing else. So I have maintained that gone were the days that some of us were in parliament. If I were in parliament now, I bet you parliament will not sit to consider any government business until we have a clue to what happens to these 3 MPs. Because if you are sitting there as members of parliament and you are being killed one by one and you are not doing anything, the government is not doing anything, and all that they are interested in is that somebody dies, then you go and take care of the wife and children, and that's all, organize a big funeral, and that settles it. Is that a good democracy?
Yeah, but the John Kuma one that you mentioned, it's just rumors that people were just...
No, it's not rumors. Somebody has come to say that I am claiming. Look, were people not picked for claiming that there will be a coup d'etat? Yeah. Why was Kokonyi Doho picked? That he has claimed that there will be a coup d'etat. And he was picked. Now somebody is dead. Another person comes that I was with him. He ate this food. The person who came to serve it did so at this hotel. And this and that and that and that and that.
But the wife filed the police report. The wife filed the report. The police is investigating.
It's not about waiting for the wife to file any police report. It must be a matter of urgent national attention. And the attention we attach to even people who misspeak against a president. They are picked and dealt with. What about somebody who claims that another person actually poisoned an MP? The MP is dead. And then you are attending the funeral, and at the funeral, somebody's son died at 45 years. You go, 80-year-old person, you go and sit at a funeral, and you are celebrating your birthday at the funeral grounds and praising yourself that you've achieved 80 years. What story are you telling?
Who are you referring to?
The relatives. The president went there. They were hailing him for his birthday at a funeral grounds of...
If it did so, it would be coincidence. It just happened that...
How can it be coincidence? Are they not Ghanaians? Are they not sensitive to the feelings of the family that had lost John Kuma?
Why are you crying more than the bereaved? John Kuma...
Who is the bereaved?
The bereaved of the MPP. I mean, why is the NDC so worried about this?
Because his family members are happy. It means that something is happening. If the members of his political party are not concerned, at least we should be concerned that he's a member of parliament. Well, he's a state official.
What about the wife? The wife was on national radio talking about the fact that she worked with her husband, traveled with him, and it wasn't poison.
The person who said that they ate the poison was with the man. Yeah, but the wife was in a Joso. He was not in Tamale.
But when anybody dies, it's the wife's word over everybody else. The wife says, my husband died of natural causes.
Haven't you seen wives jailed for killing their husbands?
That's true, but in this case...
So you can't just go by somebody's sole statement when the facts seem to be pointing to otherwise. Because
but there are no facts here, there are rumors.
No, they are not rumors. The person is making a claim.
But you believe...
It's up to the security.
But what about the wife? The wife says
why is it that
natural causes.
I am saying that. What are the natural causes?
Well, that's what the wife says. I don't know.
What are the natural causes?
Yeah.
Do you know that John Kuma himself confided to people when he returned from Germany?
That?
About what is happening to him.
That? So, what did he tell the people?
Huh?
What did he tell the people when he confided in them?
Go and ask those who are testifying on television. They will tell you more. And I'm worried that nobody has been apprehended when there is this clear claims, not by one person, but as many as 3 different...
The last time we checked, the police had invited a few people since the report was filed to question them.
So what has happened? Police has invited somebody, so that is the...
Yeah, but you need evidence to arrest somebody.
A human life as chicken life. Why?
But what else can the police do than investigate, question, and if they have the evidence, they can make an arrest?
The police, look, such a critical issue, the police should be addressing the nation as to the steps they are taking. We haven't heard anything like that. We haven't heard anything about how they are proceeding to find the killers of the Mfansiman MP. And so far, the killers of...
JB
Dankwa, The matter proceeded to a point, then they say government has withdrawn the case. Then there was public outcry, then they say they have started investigation. At some point, they say that the laptop of the doctors who did the postmortem has been stolen and all that. These cock and bull stories about 3 MPs having been killed, and all that we hear is that their wives are rehabilitated in parliament to replace their husbands.
Yeah.
Is that where our democracy is moving? And is it good?
Well,
when they start eliminating pressmen, you feel it.
Well, as you know, a few pressmen have also died.
So what has happened?
So that too is a subject of police investigations.
We cannot allow this democracy to degenerate into survivor of the fittest. If you hate somebody or you are competing with somebody, eliminate him and then get away with it.
But you seem to believe that rumor, and that's a problem, is it not? It's somebody's rumor that somebody may have, of course.
It depends on what you believe. You are believing the one.
I'm just asking.
And I'm believing what I have heard from the special assistant who were with him in Tamale where the thing happened.
But
I believe that. So one of us should be proven wrong by what investigation the security.
And the investigations are happening. The police are investigating.
Nothing is happening.
Despite your concerns.
Have they told you?
Well.
Have they called?
We know
they called any press
a
conference?
Police report was filed.
Have they called a press conference? The police themselves, have they called a press conference to brief the nation as to what is happening?
Despite your concerns, the by-elections will happen.
Anyway.
Despite your concerns, the by-elections will happen.
Yes, it must happen. The by-elections must happen. But I'm saying,
will your concerns,
as a matter of
will your concerns
to save our democracy? You don't just when an MP dies
under
certain suspicious circumstances, the nation should not just go to bed and focus on replacing him and that.
Will these concerns influence your decision to contest or not?
They will not, but when we reach there, we will inform you.
Next week, an announcement will be made.
Sure.
Okay. Still, let's talk about Parliament. The President has refused to receive the anti-gay bill from Parliament, despite criticism from the Speaker of Parliament.
Yes.
Whose side are you on in this standoff, the President's or the Speaker?
I'm on the side of Parliament.
Okay. What is that? What's Parliament's side?
Because the President has no reason to ask that Parliament should not submit the bill, because the cases that are in court, the last time I checked, there is no application for injunction or any actual injunction granted that prevents the President from receiving the bill. The only application for injunction that I have seen is to block the President from signing the bill.
Yes.
Receiving and signing are different things. So if you don't want to receive the bill, you don't blame anybody who has gone to court, because the reliefs being sought in court do not bother on you not receiving. They say, don't work on it. But for the office receiving it, it is a matter of impunity that is being shown by the President to frustrate the work of Parliament.
Why? He cites...
Because Parliament has done their work up to a point, and they say, transmit this to the Presidency. You don't have a right not to receive. You can receive it. After receiving, you have options that have been provided under the Constitution. And somebody is in court trying to injunct you from acting on the bill. That injunction does not say that don't receive the bill. So for you to write to Parliament that because I'm on some injunction not to sign it, so don't bring it at all, it means you have a premeditated agenda. You don't want to receive it or work on it or do anything with it, but you are not man enough to tell Ghanaians that I don't want to do this.
You think this is just an excuse not to sign the bill?
Sure, it's clearly an excuse.
But it's a fact.
It's a wrong excuse, because, He was citing the court case even before anybody could file it. It tells you that he orchestrated the filing.
The president orchestrated the filing?
Yes, because he was citing that case, that there's a case in court. Somebody has gone to court.
That's true. But,
yes.
but what you suggest...
as at the time he was talking to the diplomat,
you're questioning the...
Nobody was...
You're questioning the independent-mindedness of the individuals who have been in court, who have taken this matter to court. Yes. The president's decision to reference them doesn't mean that he had anything to do with it.
No, but I'm saying that as at the time the president was speaking, nobody had gone to court.
That is a
either
fact.
the president...
He simply may have known about the intention to file.
So if there is somebody's intention to file and he has not filed yet, how do you restrain yourself? So it means that you don't want to do something, but you want an excuse to cite not to do it. Because if you have heard that somebody is going to court, the person has not gone to court yet, and yet you are injuncting yourself. It means that you are part of an orchestration to go to court in the first place. So I don't trust in the independent-mindedness of whoever filed that case.
But that is a serious point to make, considering that these are private individuals who have just taken their independent decision.
And this is my view. I'm entitled to my view. And
but you're questioning their integrity here. You're questioning their integrity, that you don't trust in their independent-mindedness to proceed with their own independent belief that this should be stopped.
Yes, that is what I'm questioning.
Yeah, but that is unfair to these individuals.
It is not unfair. Who doesn't know this man? What is his name?
Richard Sky, yes.
Richard Sky. Richard Sky works in the chamber of the Attorney General.
Well, those
Richard Sky was sponsored to do his
I don't have any evidence.
Government. I have that evidence. I have that evidence. And the man has written, and he's working with this man. Is working with a majority leader.
Yeah, but the fact that...
And so the person goes to court, and before he went to court, the president was already citing that court case when it has not been filed at all. I mean, there's circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial doesn't make it evidence.
That is my belief. So you can believe something else. Okay? We don't attend the same church. You believe in your church, I believe in mine. I'm saying that this is my belief. And so allow viewers and listeners to pass their own judgment.
Well, on that point, though, subsequent, the case is in court. If the case is in court, there are different schools of thought on the matter.
And I'm saying that the case in court
doesn't ask for an injunction. It's not an injunction.
No, listen.
Doesn't injunct you from receiving.
Yes. The relief being sought is for the president not to sign the bill. As far as I can recollect, the document I have seen, there is nothing seeking a relief that will block the president from receiving a bill from Parliament.
You made that point. In fact, I read the speaker's point, who also re-emphasized the point you just made. Let me ask you.
So if you are injuncting yourself for not receiving, because when we talk about the presidency, it's not one person carrying an office around. There is a presidency. The letter, you can't block the letter. It's like somebody sues you in court, and then you assume that, well, because I'm innocent, I'm not receiving the process. The president is running away from justice. If you...
you are on the parliamentary service, but what should Parliament do about this?
Well, I am happy that the Parliament is insisting on its sovereignty, because the Constitution, in every well-functioning democracy, the three arms of government are allowed their independence to operate, and they are supreme in their own area. So if you allow one to overreach its bounds, you are undermining democracy. And you have the legislature, which has sovereignty over passage of laws. You have the executive that has sovereignty over implementation of policy, controlling the coercive forces of state, and all that. And then you have the judiciary that has the power to,
adjudicate laws and administer the laws on behalf.
So the moment the executive makes any attempt to adjudicate on matters. It means they are entering the realm of the judiciary, which is non-democratic. The moment the executive tries to stifle the power of the legislature in the passage of laws, as this current president is trying to do, it amounts to undermining of our democracy. So that's where we sit now. The debate has closed. At least our representatives, whether we like it or not, it doesn't matter what our individual beliefs about LGBT. The debate has closed. All our representatives, 100%, have all voted to pass this bill. So the president can only assent to it or refuse to assent to it and give reasons and bring it back. And then Parliament will reconsider. Where the Parliament still insists that the bill must go through, it must overpower the veto of the president. That is where the sovereignty of Parliament in the passage of legislation is exhibited. So where we are now, if Parliament allows the president to have his way, that weakens Parliament, and it will serve as a very bad precedent that the president has taken over the authority to pass laws.
Let me ask you,
and I don't think it is.
The Attorney General recently said that the NDC sponsors of the bill did so for partisan political reasons. Is he right?
But I thought that one of the key sponsors is an MPP guy.
That's true.
So why is he saying that NDC sponsored? And you see, this takes us back to the issue about the propriety of the Attorney General being a Minister of Justice.
Now that's an old overflow.
Yes, that is because all these happenings point to that fact. The Attorney General is behaving purely as a partisan person and not an officer of state who should be interested in prosecution. I doubt the intentions of an Attorney General who, in the face of Supreme Court rulings, not once, not twice, several occasions, to the effect that nobody can injunct a constitutional body from undertaking its constitutional duties whilst they are in the process. There are several settled cases about Electoral Commission, people trying to injunct Electoral Commission halfway through elections. The Supreme Court has thrown all those cases away and has maintained that they can only review the product of the elections and decide whether to uphold the results or to quash the results. In the case of legislation, the Supreme Court has ruled before that you can't stop Parliament in the process of passing law. They can only take the law that has been passed completely and take a decision whether it is constitutional.
But Attorney General hasn't said that Parliament cannot pass a law. Parliament has done so.
No, Parliament, we are still in the process. It has not been completed.
Yeah, but the president's domain is whether to sign or not to sign.
So if the president refuses to sign, Parliament has some residual work to do to make the bill complete.
Away from the controversy around to sign or not to sign, let me ask you, the anti-gay bill, I've done a show here today, this year, where the Catholic Bishops' Conference has said, look, if it's not passed, there's going to be political consequences. I need to ask you, we're in an election year. Will the NDC make this anti-gay bill, its passage or otherwise, an issue for the campaign this year?
Where we are now, it is not an issue about NDC or MPP. The controversy now is about undermining the presidency, undermining the sovereignty of Parliament as far as legislation is concerned. The debate about LGBT has been closed. Whether we like it or not, our elected representatives across the country, not a single MP, stood against it. Our elected representatives have concluded the debate. So the issue that we are dealing with, we don't have to go and re-argue the issues, because whatever you position you will take, the bill has been made. So I think that the president is also not doing, those who are against the bill. The president is not helping them, because let the bill be complete so somebody can challenge in Supreme Court, and Supreme Court can make pronouncement as to whether the arguments being made that the bill is unconstitutional, it is against some people's human rights, can be determined. If it is determined that indeed the bill is unconstitutional, the Supreme Court has the authority to quash the whole bill, so that we get closer to these matters. But the way it is being done is like the president, by his conduct, is pushing in one direction, but by his words, is pushing in another direction. I don't think we deserve a president who cannot say, I want this, and this is where I stand.
Let's end with something from the NDC. I mean, recently, Professor Jinano Pokojuman was renominated. I'm pretty sure you were in the room when it was unanimously agreed that she should go.
Sure.
There's been some recent controversy, and I don't know whether he's a good friend of yours or not, but party stalwart Kwesi Ahoy angered a few of your NDC folks. Many of them were very, very upset when he said in proposing a toast that your running mate should prepare to be president because anything can happen. And this was an apparent reference to how John Mahama became president on the back of the death of John Mills. Were you one of those who felt it was in bad taste?
No, fortunately or unfortunately, I was nowhere near the area at all, and I've come to address it. I don't think that we should spend time on those things at all, because if you claim that you are the person who brought the running mate, does it make all of us stakeholders who took that decision, what do you call it, non-consequential? Are you saying that you just got up there and dictated to us that this is the... When we know, those who participated knew how the decision was arrived at. So I don't think that it is something that I want to debate about.
He apologized. You accepted his apology?
And that is the work of a good statesman. You don't have many of such people in the country who will say, yes, I made a mistake. Forgive me, and let's get over it.
You're forgiving him? This is done. What's
Why
under the
not?
bridge?
Because beyond apology, where else do you go? Where else do you go? So the matter has been settled. It's like flogging a dead horse. I was saying that there was a pastor who was praying and anointing, and he said that, oh, he's going to heal. So everybody should put their hand at a place where the sickness is. And somebody put their hand on the zip.
Yeah.
Okay, so after all the prayers, then he said, no, now come and testify. Then he got up and said, oh, I don't feel any change. The thing is the same way. And so the pastor said, this is not a prayer about resurrection of the dead. It's about healing the sick.
That's a good
so
one.
Something that is dead, this my prayer cannot resolve.
That's a good one.
So that debate is dead.
Okay.
Don't go.
That's John Asiedu Nketia. Thank you very much for making time to talk to us.
Thank you for staying tuned. PENDREAM TV really appreciate your time. Please, if today being the first time here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell, put it on all posts so that you'll be the first to receive any update that will be uploaded onto the channel. Thank you.
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.